When John was 13 years old, a sense of excitement coursed through his body as he approached the ticket stand at the entrance to the local carnival. The carnival came to his area once every year, but this was the first time he had actually attended all by himself. The bright lights, loud music, and the promise of cotton candy filled the air with electricity. His eyes grew wide with excitement as he handed his money to the ticket vendor. The woman smiled warmly as she handed John the small orange ticket, a pass to hours of fun and thrilling experiences. The Ferris wheel soared high into the sky, its illuminated spokes creating a mesmerizing dance of light. The aroma of fresh popcorn filled the air, competing with the sweet smell of cotton candy that seemed to beckon to him. John's heart raced with the excitement of choosing which ride to try first. Maybe the scrambler would be a great way to begin his day. But, then again, flying in and out of the other carriages might be a bit too much to begin with. He would put off the thrilling roller coaster until after he had a candy apple or two. He really liked the crazy bumper cars, and the tilt-a-whirl was fun, but when he saw the gravity-defying swing ride he knew that would be the one. As he climbed into the seat that would carry him high into the air, he buckled his seatbelt and waited. As the ride began to slowly spin, John was casually lifted into the air. He gazed upon the carnival grounds from a new angle, as the top of the ride then began to tilt and pick up speed. Then John simply held on for dear life and screamed out his enthusiasm and happiness to the world. After a relaxing ride on the Ferris wheel and a few rounds of carnival games, John was having the best time of his young life. The evening grew darker and the carnival came to life with a kaleidoscope of colorful lights. John's excitement grew as he savored every moment he could. He strolled the grounds while eating some cotton candy. At that point he began to plan for next year's carnival. He hoped to bring his friends next time since they would all be older by then. The carnival was crowded and laughter filled the air. John found himself in front of the magic mirror maze and decided to go inside for some cheap laughs. As he entered, he found himself happily bouncing off the panes of glass and trying to find the right path to take. Filled with mirrors and clear partitions, everyone was laughing as they banged into one wall after another. As John navigated through the maze, his eyes caught sight of a man, standing on the outside of the maze, who seemed to be oddly fixated on him. He appeared to be in his early 30s or so, nothing out of the ordinary, but he stared at John with his mouth wide open, as if he wanted to say something to him. John stopped briefly and met the man's gaze. He offered a wry smile before turning away and continuing through the maze. As he continued, he felt as if he knew the man as he had looked very familiar. He quickly brushed it off, attributing it to the carnival's excitement and electric atmosphere. Once he exited the maze, he noticed the man was nowhere in sight. After a few more hours, as the night grew late, John found himself standing at the magic mirror maze again. He gazed at his own reflection for a moment, wondering about the mysterious man he had seen earlier. With a wistful smile, John turned away and made his way back home. The memories of that day, with the carnival, the rides, and the strange encounter, stayed with him, a reminder that life was full of wonder and surprises that could never truly be explained. 20 years passed since that curious encounter at the carnival, and John once again was there. This time he was with his family, which included his wife and 7-year-old daughter. Since they lived nearby, they attended the carnival almost every year and loved the experience. The familiar sights, sounds, and smells triggered a wave of nostalgia as John strolled among the various attractions. The merry-go-round spun with cheerful music, screams came from the roller coaster, the tantalizing aroma of popcorn filled the air, and the excited laughter of children echoed all around. John's gaze drifted to a group of youngsters enjoying a ride, and as he watched, he couldn't help but reflect on the passing of time. He remembered his own youthful days, filled with wonder and dreams, just as these kids were experiencing now. As they approached the magic mirror maze, John stopped and remembered the encounter he had with the strange man so many years ago. He felt trepidation and stepped back. His wife asked why he was fearful, but he just smiled and said that the maze actually made him queasy, and that they should go ahead while he waited outside and watched. Lost in thought, he saw his wife and daughter enjoy themselves as he casually looked around the area. When he looked back at the maze, he suddenly noticed something strikingly familiar, but also very shocking. It was a young boy, who held a striking resemblance to John's own features at the age of 13. The same freckles dusted across his nose, the same tousled hair that never seemed to stay in place, and the same clothing that John had worn years before. His heart skipped a beat as he felt a sense of déjà vu wash over and terrify him. As John watched, the boy went through the maze and turned to look at John. The boy stopped, and they locked eyes for a few seconds. A wry smile played on his lips, mirroring the exact expression John had given the man he had encountered 2 decades ago. A shiver ran down John's spine as he felt a peculiar sense of recognition. It was then that John noticed that his mouth had been wide open the entire time as he stared at the young boy. Realization struck him as he recalled the same expression on the man he had seen so long ago. With a mix of anticipation and excitement, John suddenly realized that this was his younger self and that he had encountered some sort of time loop. He quickly weaved through the people in front of him and made it to the front of the attraction, hoping to catch another glimpse of the boy. But to his regret, the boy had disappeared. John's heart sank, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within him. He stood still for a moment, his mind reeling. Shaking his head with a bemused smile, John then realized that he had experienced something extremely unusual and quite frightening. Feeling no need to tell his family of the incredible occurrence, as his wife might think him truly mad, they continued to meander through the carnival. The sights and sounds took on a new meaning to John, reminding him of the passage of time and the magical moments that could occur in the most unexpected of places. As the sun set, and the lights of the carnival illuminated the evening sky, John found himself lost in thought. He couldn't explain the mysterious encounter, but he didn't need to. Some experiences were meant to be cherished as unexplainable fragments of the extraordinary journey that is life.